What's up guys, it's Manga Time once again, and I'm here today to bring you my companion video to Bleach 556, The Wolf's Bane. And as you know, if you saw my review, I thought it was a great chapter. In fact, I laid a 10 on it, which, you know, is something I don't do too often, I like to think. But I really felt this chapter kind of deserved it, because it gave a lot of development to Seijin Komamura, who is a really underrated character in my opinion. I really like him. And I've just always felt he was a great character. I'll get into that a bit more later. But, you know, looking back at the chapter, it's really interesting just to see how, you know, Kubo's kind of, what he's done to his character. Because I definitely think this is Komamura's curtain call. You know, the removing of the heart, that is... I don't even know how he's alive. I kind of hope they expand on that, because even for a Shinigami, that is fatal, you know. So yeah, I want to see where that goes. I do think this is a temporary thing. Like, it's literally just going to be, he'll defeat Bambietta, probably not kill her, but I'll get into that in a minute as well, and then he'll die or something. So my actual prediction for how the fight will go, what I'd love to happen is, I think Komamura will really overpower her. Why? Because Kubo can't really not have it happen, because obviously Toshiro and Soifon have overpowered their respective opponents. Even though they haven't won, they've overpowered them. I would love for the situation to be slightly different with Komamura, because out of these three captains, Komamura is easily the least popular, unfortunately, and definitely the one Kubo would, if he was going to kill any of them, he would choose Komamura. Komamura is a big enough name that it would be like, oh damn, you know, wow. But at the same time, Kubo's not going to get any death threats over it. But I think, and this is kind of the problem with this fight, it makes for a really interesting dilemma. Bambietta is far too major a Sternritter to go down this early in the fight. So what I think is going to happen is, I personally think Komamura is going to defeat her. He's going to defeat her, because it would just be wrong otherwise, I think. Whether it was with or without Shinji's help, I don't know. I'd probably rather it wasn't, because I think they could save Shinji potentially for later on. But yeah, I would like to think that Komamura would defeat Bambietta. That would be really impressive if he could take down this really powerful Sternritter. She doesn't die, and a couple of her friends come in and help her out at the last minute. Maybe Candice and Meninus, because I hate them. So, you know, if they jump in, I could see that happening to defend Bambietta. And then can you imagine if Komamura kills them? How amazingly cool would that be? And then, because he is supposed to have immeasurable power now, so he defeats those two, and then Bambietta gets back with Lil Toto and Giselle, and they bring him down. I can see that happening, or something along those lines anyway. That is really just a crack prediction. Whether Shinji gets back in time to square off with Bambietta alone, I don't know. I'd love to see him fight someone else other than Bambietta, to be honest. I'd like to see him fight, you know, Kang. That'd be cool, but I don't think it's going to happen. But no, yeah, Shinji versus Bambietta, I think, is probably pretty inevitable. And hopefully he'll use Hollow Mask and Bankai. I did actually have an idea for his Bankai, Sakanade's Bankai. Because obviously when he uses Sakanade on you, everything you see and apparently here now is reversed as well, is reversed completely. So, up, down, left, right, obviously back and forwards, the way something goes, you know, it's well confusing. And I had the idea for his Bankai that it does the same, but to you as well. So, your environment is going the other way, but also you go the other way. So, say if she tried to attack with her sword, her other arm would go. And can you imagine how trippy that would be? She would literally be like, oh my god. But like, she would look, and she'd be looking in another direction. I mean, I know it's really overpowered, but I can't really think of what else for Shinji's Bankai. You know, his Shikai is overpowered, his Bankai kind of has to be. But yeah, I don't know, I'd rather see him use it on someone else than Bambietta, but I think, I definitely think we'll be seeing a Shinji Bankai in the next month or so. I would be really surprised if we didn't. So yeah, I think this is the end for Komamura. I think we could possibly see Shinji Momo tag team, maybe. I don't know, I mean, I'd like to see it, because Momo disappoints me eternally. I don't even think Momo should still be alive after the Fate Karakura Town arc, but you know, whatever. So yeah. As for Komamura's, like, is he going to get new powers? I've been saying for ages that I'd love for Komamura to actually get some abilities. Toshiro gets abilities every fight. Komamura, the only, like, change he's had to his Bankai before this is a weakness, is that when it gets hit, so does he. That's the only new bit of information we've had, which is massively, like, why? So I'm really hoping for something cool here. I know in the anime-only filler arc, Zanpakuto filler arc, Tenken was a fire Zanpakuto. Now, this Oni demon version of his Bankai, Dangaijo, I love saying it like that, saying it like Komamura, it's just cool, has, like, flaming eyes. So is Komamura finally going to get some fire attacks? That'd be great, because it would really reinforce, like, his kind of admiration for Yamamoto. And can you imagine that, like, skeletal demon doing some fire crap? That'd be sweet. That'd be sweet. Komamura himself, I don't know how much he's going to actually change. And some people have pointed out the fact that on the final page, Komamura has his sword out in front of him, like that. But Dangai Joe still has his arms down, possibly implying their connection is not like it was before. In that if Dangai Joe gets hit, Komamura doesn't. I can probably see that happening, because otherwise Bambietta is just going to imbue Reishi into his head, blow it up, and then Komamura is going to be left without a head. So, yeah, I can probably see Komamura will have gotten rid of that weakness. Because frankly, it just makes sense. It wouldn't make sense otherwise. But yeah, that's kind of my predictions really for the next. I'd love to see obviously some more fights, but I personally think this is major enough to hold us for a few chapters. And then we'll probably get news on Kang, BG9, Baz, people like that. I'd love to see where Askin's gone. That'd be fantastic. I think it'd be hilarious if he'd like gone and sat down somewhere and just like. I think it'd be so funny. I can sort of envision him like meeting up with another Sternritter, and like this Sternritter's like, "What the hell do you think you're doing?" And Askin's like, "Well, you know, I didn't really want to fight him in the end." That'd be funny. I think that'd be really funny. I think we've got a while to wait till Ichigo comes back, which is great. However, the trend Kubo's been doing, like he defeated Kang and BG. Obviously, they're still alive, but they got beaten. Now Komamura is fighting Bambietta. Logic dictates that next up is Aznot versus Byakuya, which means we'll probably be seeing Byakuya, Rukia, and Renji arriving from the Royal Realm relatively soon. Maybe Komamura will do, maybe Kubo will do something after the Komamura battle as an interval before that, but I do think that's going to possibly be the big fight coming up relatively soon. Hopefully Aznot doesn't get killed off in that fight, but I can't imagine Kubo has anything too nice planned for him. Speaking of Byakuya, Renji, and Rukia, I think they're all going to be looking different like Ichigo does as well. At least I bloody hope so. Otherwise, they're not going to really. They can't. They should stand out. They are Shinigami who've been to the Royal Realm. This is a massive deal. And frankly, we still don't really know why they've gone to the Royal Realm, other than main character status. There is no real reason. Why? Because they weren't even that badly hurt. I know they kept saying like, oh, they had massive injuries. Like Renji and Rukia were in intensive care. Renji just got kicked across Soul Society. Yeah, okay, that's massively bad, but he's a Shinigami. People are taking worse hits than that. Hiyori got cut in half. She didn't go to the Royal Realm, so yeah. But I do expect them to look different. Kind of look like Ichigo does a little bit. Even though after they were in Shutara's palace, they didn't look much different. They did have slightly different kimonos on. Actually, the white bit was kind of bigger, if that makes sense. Go back to 545. You can have a look. But yeah, I'm expecting to see them pretty soon, but I do think it's going to stick with Komamura and Bambietta for at least another 2 chapters. We still need Bambietta's Volstendish name. I want to predict Wrath of God. I don't know what that is in translation, but all the Volstendish have their own unique names from what we've seen so far, and they're all the something of God. Kurge was Justice of God, Biskiel, and Colonel Sanders was Grimaniel, Walk of God. And that's kind of interesting. That possibly gives us a clue as to Colonel Sanders' letter. I think he's either W for the walk or M for the move. But I'd also like him to be C. That'd be cool, just because he's that powerful. And I'm almost certain there is some kind of power hierarchy. Even though it hasn't been said, and it's been said that the letters represent their abilities. But it's just too much of a coincidence for Hashvoth to be B, and seemingly powerful Sternritter like Bambietta and Az to be E and F, so. But then it doesn't make much sense with Royd being Y, but I'm going off on a bit of a tangent. So maybe it's not power. Maybe they're also hierarched on something else. I don't know. But we'll see. But yeah, that's kind of my predictions. Comments of the week. Been a while since we've done some of these. So yeah, thanks for all of your comments as always. The comment I chose, two comments I chose. One by Roth. I liked Komamura's honourable knightly character, and his Bankai was my favourite despite it getting trolled a few times. Yeah. But because of his design, a big talking dog, I couldn't find him cool the way I do Yamamoto, Shinsui and Byakuya. But now with this human form, he's shot right up. Though ironically, I disapprove of his new Bankai. It's ugly. Thanks for your comment, Roth. That's interesting, and actually you bring up a good point that I didn't really mention because when I brought out my review, the shit hadn't hit the fan, so to speak. But Komamura is not that popular. Well, he wasn't. And I hate to say it, but it's mainly, I think a lot of it is because he doesn't have this cool/sex appeal. Because he's a dog, well, he's actually a wolf, and so fans can certain fans didn't like him. Now that he's kind of this guy, his fan base has exploded exponentially. I've always liked him. I thought he looked awesome as this kind of big hulking wolf, but I think now he is really popular now. Like I've been looking at some forums and just everyone is like, this is cool. I love this. Komamura has just got awesome, and I was like, I'm sitting there like he's always been awesome, but I agree, Roth. It seems like everyone likes Komamura a lot now. As for his Bankai, you think it's ugly? I don't know. I think it looks really cool, actually. I think it's a nice symbolism of him getting rid of his armor, the Bankai doing the same thing. No, I like it. I think it's cool. But yeah, thanks for your comment. My other comment is 135 Mike Rules 23. Thanks for your comment. And they said, they basically gave a prediction that I think Bambietta will be beaten around for a bit and Shinji will join in. They said that there might be another Sternritter coming in. That's possible. Like I said, I think it could be Bambietta's friends of all people because they seem to be watching her fight. But what I'm really answering here is he says, when did Komamura become one of your favourites? If you see my Captain's Ranking video, 300 subscribers special, you'll see that Komamura got pretty close to the top. I think he was definitely top half. I've always liked Komamura. I think his design is great. I've always been intrigued by the mystery of this wolf captain, which has now been answered. And his Bankai Kokujo Tengenmyo always looked very cool. But I always found Komamura to be one of the captains who was really kind of, I felt, integrated into the story. Because obviously he had such a massive kind of clash with Tozen, who was a big villain in the earlier arcs. And obviously he had this kind of alliance with Hisagi, it was the two squads coming together. And I was always very hyped, because I love me some story, and Komamura versus Tozen was like the big kind of, oh my god, when this eventually happens, shit's going to get real. And it is one of my favourite fights in the series. A little bit short, but I still love it. I love everything it stands for. That said, I just think Komamura is a great guy. And I also think, while he possibly lacks the power, I think he has everything else necessary to be Captain Commander. Not only is he one of the most loyal captains, I think he's one of the best captains in terms of actually being a captain. He doesn't swing his sword out of hate. We had that conversation with Hitsugaya and Aizen. But he does it out of loyalty, out of obligation, out of duty, and he's just a really great character. He's very caring. He went to protect Momo, he protects Shinji. He's always protecting people at the cost of his own body. He protects Tozen from Kenpachi, he protects Shinji from Tozen. He protects Momo from Bambietta. He's just a great character, and that's why I like him. So, yeah, that's kind of it for this week's video, guys. And my question of the week to you, interesting. Okay, yeah, okay. Do you think, basically it's a two-parter, is Komamura going to defeat Bambietta? You can let me know whether you think he'll kill her or not as well. And if he does, is another Sternritter going to join? Who do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, guys. We're almost at 400, which is absolutely insane. 400 is a mental number for me to even try and comprehend, so please subscribe if you haven't already. And don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. But I shall see you next week for 557. Until then, guys.